Before I get into it, let me share a quick story. So I spent around $4,200 on ads in January, and I got about 38 leads, out of which I closed two of them. So that's approximately a 2.1K per client acquired. In the same month, I posted for about 4750 pieces of content across LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and X. And that content generated 14 inbound DMs, inbound leads, and I closed six of them. And the cost per client acquiring here is zero. So the concept is both channels work, but one of them stops the second we stop paying. The other one is still generating leads from posts that you make 3 months ago. So this lesson is about the difference and why personal brand is the single most valuable asset you can build for your service business. Now, the question is, how does anyone find out about it? So there are two parts. Number one is outbound and inbound, which starts here with your personal brand. And here's what most service business founders do. They set up a LinkedIn profile, post occasionally when they feel inspired, maybe run some ads and wait for leads to come in. And when leads don't come in, they assume that content doesn't work for their industry, which is wrong. Content works for every B2B service industry. The reason it doesn't work for most founders is that they treat it like a hobby instead of a system. Now, I post around 10 pieces of content per day across four platforms, not because I love creating content, because I measured the economics and realized that every post is a compounding sales asset. A LinkedIn post that I wrote in last year, October, it still gets me DM today, this month. So it's about how well you can leverage social media to build that channel for inbound leads, right? And the thing is, ads don't do that. Ads would stop working the moment your credit card stops. Now, let me explain you the compounding effect with actual numbers, right? So when you run paid ads, the math is linear. You spend $100, you get X leads. You spend 200, you get roughly 2X leads, right? So you stop spending, leads go to zero. Every month starts from zero. With content, the map is exponential. In month one, you publish, let's say, 30 posts. They generate maybe 5 inbound conversations. In month two, another 30, but the first 30 are still circulating. So now you have 60 assets working for you, and it generates 12 conversation. By month six, you have, let's say, 180 posts in the ecosystem. Some have been shared, some have ranked in search, some get resurfaced by algorithms. So you are now generating 40 to 50 inbound conversation a month from content that you have already created. This is the compounding curve. And it is why personal brand is not a marketing tactic, it's an asset. Now, I need to clarify this three terms because founders use them interchangeably and they're not the same thing. Number one is the brand. So the brand is owned. Brand is what people think of you when they see your name, your reputation, your expertise, your track record. Brand is owned. Nobody can take it from you. Second, audience. So audience is the number of people who see your content, followers, impressions, views. Audience is rented because the platform owns it. And third is community. Very important. Community is a group of people who actively engage with you and each other around your ideas. Community is the highest value asset because it creates network effects and members recruit other members. So the thing is, most founders focus on audience because it's the easiest to measure. Followers count, views count, impressions. But audience without brand is just noise. 100,000 followers who don't know what we sell is worth less than 500 followers who know exactly what you do and trust, what you deliver. So your goal across this module is to build brand first, audience second, community third. That should go in that order. One more thing which you need to understand is why every post is a sales asset. Think of every piece of content you publish as a sales rep that works 24/7 for free. Because let's say a good LinkedIn post does three things simultaneously. It demonstrates your expertise to people who haven't met you, it builds trust with people who are considering hiring you, and it stays visible for weeks, months, and sometimes years through searches and reshares. So it's very important that you understand that you post regularly because every post is sales asset. It has happened that a lot of my clients have seen me or found me via my social media. And I mentioned last, I think in one of the modules where humanoid AI reached out to me through Instagram story that I posted about a result or a case study. And that's how the conversation started, and we onboarded them as a client. So you see, this is what I mean when I say every post is a sales asset, because you're not posting for vanity metrics. You're posting for a library of trust signals that prospects encounter before they ever talk to you. Right now, we'll talk about the advantage, or that service businesses have with the personal brand. So service business have a unique advantage that product companies don't. The founder is the brand. Nobody wants to buy marketing services. They want to buy from a specific person that they trust would solve their specific problem. When you build a personal brand, you become that specific person. I see this with every client I work with. Before we build their brand, they are competing on price against 50 other agencies offering the same deliverables. But after we build their brand, they're the only option because the prospect specifically wants to work with them, right? You know, let me show you the other side. What happens when you don't build a personal brand? And what happens is you compete on price. Every prospect compares your proposal to 3 to 5 other providers and pick the cheapest. You cannot command premium pricing because there's nothing differentiating you except your delivery. You rely entirely on outbound, cold emails, cold DMs, cold calls, all necessary channels, which we'll build in the next module. But outbound alone means you are always chasing. The prospect has zero context about you and when you reach out. So you start every conversation from zero trust. It's also that you have no inbound pipeline. Zero leads come to you. Every client is someone that you hunted down. This means your revenue ceiling is capped by how much outbound you can personally do. And here's the worst part: you have no leverage. If you take a week off, if you get sick, if you want to go on a vacation, lead flow stops. With a personal brand, your content keeps working while you're not. So this is how it gives you the leverage. But this doesn't mean that ads or outbound are bad. They're essential, but they work 3 to 5x when combined with a personal brand, because the prospect already trusts you before they see your ad or read your whole email. Now, let me give you the numbers from my own brand to make this concrete. So I run content across LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and X, threads as well. 10 posts in total. My content system uses what I call the 5 pillar engine. So here's the math of how it looked like. The content, the inbound convos were 67 versus the 112 of the ad leads, and the closed clients were 9 versus the 6 that we did via the ads. So of course, if you look at the numbers, we spend 0 to generate like 9 closed clients, whereas we spend around 12K to generate another 6. So it's more that it should be a balance, like I mentioned, and that is how you actually build a proper acquisition system. So this is why personal brand or the inbound content system is important for you. Now, that is pretty much it about this one, and I'll see you in the next video.